Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Tesla Tunity. Today we've got a special surprise. We woke up to version 9 being staged for my car. If you haven't had any updates yet on your car, or if you don't even have your car yet and you want to know how this all works, you'll get push notifications on your phone. And seeing the trends, waiting about a week since the first recorded install of version 9 software for Tesla, I had been tracking my router using Google Wi-Fi. And found actually my wife received the update yesterday, and it's about 530 to 550 megabytes of bandwidth that your car will download, and you can rest assured you'll have the update after that. So I watched closely and woke up this morning, checked the phone, and of course I had the alert the software update was ready for Tesla Tunity, so I want to walk you through the process. First thing you'll notice when you get into your car, you'll have the alarm clock icon up by the temperature at the top right. And then from there, of course, if it's the first time getting in, you'll see it right on the screen. You can see software update. This update will take approximately 45 minutes. The good thing is it does not take that long. And all you'll do is click Install Now or tap Install Now. Countdown starts for 2 minutes. It'll automatically run, but if you want to skip ahead, just tap a couple times on the screen and you'll notice the clock jumps down to 1 second, and that's it. The update starts. From there, it is safe to close your door. You'll notice your screen goes off. Don't worry about it. And that's it. Wait by your phone. You'll get an alert when the update is done. All right, so about 20 minutes later, we received the alert. The update's done. And we are on version 9 now. So let's take a look at the release notes and see what's new here. As you can see, version 9 does bring a lot of changes to the Model 3. First things first, we have combining auto steer and auto lane change. Auto steer and auto lane change are now combined into a single auto steer beta, which is available in the autopilot setup screen. When auto steer is enabled, engaging the turn signal will activate auto lane change to move your car into an adjacent driving lane. So really just a cleanup of the menus, no real new functionality there. Next up, we have the blind spot warning. So those of you who've been following me, whether it's past videos that I've made or joining Trevor on the Model 3 Owners Club podcast, you'll know that I've been pretty critical of blind spot warning. This is a sensitive topic for everyone. Some people swear by perfect mirror setup and you really don't need technology at all. I agree, having your mirror set up properly is important, but I also think in today's technology age, blind spot warning is silly not to have. It's kind of your last line of defense when someone quickly jumps into your blind spot, even after you've properly checked your mirrors. So with this version 9 update, we get blind spot warnings on the screen. I think this is the first step toward the final solution. I'm probably not looking at my screen while switching lanes, certainly not if I'm switching lanes to the left. Would I be glancing over to the right to take a look at the screen? So I think this is step 1. The cameras are in use, giving us blind spot warning on the screen, which could only mean down the road in the future we'll get an update. Maybe there's an audible alert when you put on your turn signal and someone's in your blind spot, or a steering wheel vibration, or something else creative that we haven't even thought of yet. But that's the first stage of blind spot warning. Now on the screen, you'll see the lane line light up to the red when someone's in your blind spot there. Next up is the much discussed Dashcam feature, and you can actually see it's active in the top right corner of my screen right as we speak. But with this, while the car is on, you'll receive continuous recording out of the forward-facing camera. For YouTubers like myself, the quality of the Dashcam footage might not be the best. It might not be video-grade content to show what we're doing on the road with multiple camera angles. But in the event of an accident or just something on the road happens in front of you that was worth having a recording of, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to fumble for a camera, for your phone, and you certainly don't have to install a bulkier external dash cam if you don't want to. Now, is this the end-all be-all of dash cams as it stands? Certainly not. It's also not a dual channel. This is only recording from the forward-facing. But as you can see, it's going to do continuous recording when the car is on. You can tap right on the icon at the top row to save footage. That way it will not be overwritten as the recording continues on. And then next up, we have updates to the mobile app. So one of the biggest things is the ability to start navigation in the car using your phone, which is especially great maybe if a passenger in the car and you just want to hand them your phone. they bring up an address and they could go ahead and send it right to the screen in the car. Additionally, passengers can now control media. So if you have somebody in the back seat who you want to give control to the music for, just hand them your phone and they'll be able to control the media from the back seat, from anywhere in the car, or even technically not even in the car. And then last but not least, this will be the last update that we do like this, because in the future, all updates can be done right from the mobile app. We won't have to jump in the car and let it go. So this is kind of a look at what is the last manual update, if you will, manual over-the-air update. Next up, we have the application launcher. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this, so we'll see. We'll let it grow on me, and I'll share some feedback over time. But the application launcher contains your calendar, energy graph, web browser, camera, charging, and phone. That's my one concern, is that the phone is 2 taps away. Phone is something that I certainly use a lot. Now, I do use voice commands to call people, but they do not always work. So we'll see. I'll play around with it and provide feedback. Just going through the apps real quick, and we'll of course come back and take a peek. But Calendar does sync with your phone. You'll have to make sure you activate that, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But the calendar will pop up and allow you to navigate to a calendar event or call someone if you have a conference call. It's really a great feature. It's actually the feature that I had tweeted to Elon requesting, and he actually did reply about. So I'm really excited about that one, of course. Energy app, as somebody who's driven Model S before with some decent seat time, that is definitely something I've wanted. So I'm happy we get that. The web browser, I'm mostly indifferent to, although while supercharging or being parked, it would be nicer to have a larger screen, especially if you're charging your phone and don't want to drain your battery, but you do need to check some things on the web. So that's a nice touch. Just remember, you can't watch a video or stream music from the web. So that is at least not possible yet. Next up, we have the status bar. Really quick on that. Of course, the top row, you'll notice, has been rearranged to put things in a more logical place, moving time and weather closer to the driver's view, moving away some things that you probably do not need to touch all the time, which are your profiles. Those automatically change between easy entry and yourself. The dash cam, which is always recording, so that could stay over to the right. Home link, especially if you do auto open and auto close. But even if you don't, single tap on your drive, so that could move over to the right. And then Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, certainly you're not tapping those as often, so those move over to the right as well. All right, next up is the climate control. We'll definitely take a look and play around with that, but there's a brand new animation and some ease of use functionality there as well. So we'll take a look at that. Navigation has been redesigned to make it a little easier to use. Moving the trip overview to the left instead of the far right, that was certainly a complaint from many of the early Model 3 owners, that the directions are just a little too far away from the driver. And there's some functionality there allowing you to pull down, see more, see less. So we'll definitely take a look at that over time. And then as well with the navigation, you have the Use HOV lanes feature. So now that could be toggled on and off. Additionally, with navigation, we have improved traffic view. It has been restyled, as you can see, highlighting problematic roads. I've certainly seen some feedback early on with the car that roads appear to be clear. At different zoom levels, they might not be. So it looks like they've definitely done some improvements there. Moving over to the media area, certainly some improvements here with your favorites and your recent listening history. They've now been combined into a kind of a better, easier view. So we'll certainly look at that over time. Additionally, you can now turn off explicit lyrics, which is certainly great for anyone who has kids in the car. You never know when that's going to pop up, so having the ability to turn that on and off is fantastic. Next one seems small, but I'm actually really excited about this one, and that is the seatbelt card. When the animation pops up that your seatbelt is not in, and you have a kid in a car seat in the back seat, you're able to tap on that and basically tell the car, don't worry, that car seat's connected with the latch connector. Really just smart improvements here. Okay, next up, obstacle aware acceleration. So for those of you who've been using autopilot on city roads and potentially complaining it's not great, that's because it was never really designed in its earlier phases to be used on those city roads. But as you can see, now it has obstacle aware acceleration, basically protecting us at lower speeds. I'm not saying you'll absolutely use this 100% on city roads, but this is certainly a step in the right direction toward taking autopilot off of the highway. And next up and last in the release notes is Tesla Atari. Very exciting. It's what we've all been waiting for, the ability to play games on the screen in our car. We've got our brand new car, futuristic spaceship, playing games from essentially 40 years ago. And we're definitely going to take a look at that. All right, so let's jump into the car and take a look. First, taking a look at the calendar, you'll see on my first tap there, I don't have calendar access enabled. So all you're going to do is open up your phone, open up the Tesla app, and slide over the calendar sync, and it will actually pop up immediately. From anywhere on the calendar, you can see I can tap on an event. If it has a location, you can see my daughter's swim lesson has a location. I'm able to tap on that, and the navigation will bring me right to it. Moving over to the energy graph, this is fantastic. We'll certainly use this to watch how the car performs over time, but you'll get all sorts of projections. You can toggle between, how many miles back you want to take a look at, whether you want to look at averages or an instant range. As well as a trip planner, might be a little hard to see with a night mode on the screen, but when you do start a trip, you can actually specifically track how that trip is performing from an efficiency standpoint. All right, moving over to the web. You can see the web browser looks great. It's much maligned in the Model S and the Model X, so we will play with it. A big new change here with the HVAC system, and you'll notice conceptually it's the same, but certainly a neater graphic, kind of really showing the flow of the air where it's going. You can still go up and down, left and right, and make sure you get the vents to the desired location. All right, if we move over to the heated seats, you'll see it starts out looking exactly the same. We can control each of the 5 heated seats. The big change here is all off. All right, coming back to the top row here now, you can notice my Dashcam icon has a red dot, which indicates that we are currently recording. Now, again, as we read through the release notes, the Dashcam recordings will overwrite themselves. If you'd like to save footage of something that just happened and protect that video footage from being overwritten, permanently stored on your USB card, just tap on the Dashcam icon. You'll see it converts to kind of a share or a download icon, and you'll get that green check mark, and that confirms that your footage has been saved. Now that's your content, and you don't have to worry about the car overwriting it. Let's go ahead and jump into the Tesla T, and you can see again Model 3 long range. If we let the Easter egg tray drop down, of course, you can see Atari's there now. And I would say, the Atari games, not to date myself, are a little bit before my time, though I am familiar with all of them. But this is going to be a lot of fun for us at Superchargers. And you can go full screen on them, or you could play them kind of in a simulated arcade game. And you could use the steering wheel controls to control them, or you could use those controls right on the screen. But a lot of fun, including all the original sound effects there as well, ported over. So really enjoyable for the games that have launched. The big one that I'm waiting for is pole position. I know Elon tweeted about pole position and using the steering wheel to drive in the game. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And I'm sure we'll see some more games in future software updates. But think about how excellent this is, sitting in a supercharger for a couple minutes, getting some juice, and just play a quick game, browse the web. I really can't ask for much more from the car. All right, so let's go to Disney World. How are we going to get there? Of course, I could use the voice command in the car, and I could say, "Take me to Disney World." I could tap on navigate and I could start typing in Disney World, or I could bring up Disney World on my phone and simply share it to Tesla. And you can see sent, shared to Tesla Tunity. And there you go. It's right up on the screen in the car. So just another way yet to navigate somewhere quickly and get it right to the car's screen. All right, moving on. Let's take our last look here. We will jump through the menus and see what's changed. So there's a little bit of reorganization, making it easier to get to everything. The first thing you'll notice as we go through each of these menus is that the settings cog in the top right corner of some of the menu screens is gone. They've now made sure it's just a scrolling page every page you go to. You can't miss any kind of buried features, if you will. So everything's in one view from each of the sections we'll go to. The only new one is navigation. It's now easier to get to navigation settings right from a logical place in the menu path, and we'll get to that one in just a second. So first, starting with the quick controls, it doesn't really appear to have any changes here. We'll move on to lights. Again, no changes here, just the reorganization on a single page. Moving on to locks, same thing. We appear to have all of the same functionality that we had before. We'll jump over to display. Here's one of those changes again, the settings cog, which is where all of these bottom features were. We'll move on to driving. Same story here, no changes. Autopilot. All right, so as mentioned, auto steer, auto lane change are now combined into one auto steer. So that's our first change there. And then of course, down at the bottom, obstacle aware acceleration as we read through in the menus. That is, of course, our new low speed feature as well. And we'll come on down to navigation. So the actual change here with navigation is the use HOV lanes. Moving down to safety and security, again, all of the same options here. And last but not least, over to the service screen, where again, all of the same functionality. So that's it. That's our tour of the version 9 software. I mean, if you really just sit back and think about this for a second, I have now had my car for over 8 months. It is not a new car anymore. And this morning I wake up and my entire car is changed with, can't even count how many pieces of new functionality I've received. And really just exciting. I hope you enjoyed this tour of version 9. And I'm sure we'll have some more videos to come showing changes to autopilot, footage from the Dashcam, and more. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you on the next one, everyone. Have a good one.